Hello, everyone, and welcome to Theory into Practice. I am Dan Scott, and today we are going to be talking to Toni Hauser. One of the reasons why we're having this conversation is because we both belong to the International Association of Emergency Managers, IAEM. We're both sitting on the conference committee, and there's a lot of great things coming up, not only for the conference itself, which is happening in Louisville this year, but along the way, we've got a virtual conference, we've got webinars, we've got so many other things that we really want to bring to the attention of those who could benefit from it. So without further explaining, Toni, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here with you, Dan.
I'm glad you can make the time. I'm glad you want to have this conversation. For everybody out there listening and watching, tell them who Toni is.
I am the supervisor of the Emergency Preparedness and Response Team with the City of Minneapolis Health Department. I've been in that position for about 4.5 years, but I've been in public health emergency preparedness since 2009, 8, something like that. And I've been an active member of IAEM for years, and then I got involved in the conference committee in 2001, I believe. And then I've been a vice chair of the conference committee since, did I say 2001? I meant 2021 time. And then I've been a vice chair.
Awesome. It's a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. It's for a fantastic reason. The conference itself gets better and better every year, more the growth every year. But the things that we offer through IAEM is fantastic. So let's talk about what it is that brings you to IAEM and what you really get out of it, and then we'll branch into why we want others to benefit from it as well.
Yeah, when I first joined IAEM, I think it was because I was interested in the certification aspect, and probably like many members, I was just a member, and I got the newsletters and learned about things, but I wasn't really actively involved. It was actually going to the conference, and I think specifically it was 2018 when I went, and I had a friend and colleague who introduced me to a bunch of people, and that it's been downhill ever since. That got me much more interested in the organization as an organization and how I could be part of it. And I got involved first in some small parts of the conference committee, like the poster showcase. And then I've gotten more involved with some of the certification work, and then also got much more involved in some of the caucuses and the regional association. So that, like, meeting people and having a better understanding of how I could be involved in the association really has been a benefit to me personally and has added a lot in my professional career.
For emergency management, I was so impressionable and like a sponge. So someone just said, you should look into going to this conference. And I was like, okay. So I put my registration and I booked it. It was the first time. My first time was when it was last in Vegas. So for me, it was an eye-opening event. I met a lot of people. I already known a lot of people from being at EMI in the basic academy. And so it really did open up some eyes. And I learned more and more every year from things that are happening within IAM that you could be a part of, like the regions, the caucuses, the committees, the different things that really grow the professional in different parts of the profession. That's for me the same way. So what is it that really brings you to want to bring others into our world of IAEM?
I love that question, because the first few times I went to the IAEM conference, I went by myself, and I had to figure out how to navigate that space, not really knowing anyone. And I figured out how to do that. Most people don't believe that I'm an introvert, because people see me at the conference and they're like, how are you an introvert? But that's, first of all, I love emergency management and I love the conference and I love the people that we get to work with. So that just makes me excited and much more outgoing. But having to do the conference by myself and being forced out of my comfort zone really helped me understand prioritizing my involvement in a way where I can make that experience better for other people, especially those people who are attending by themselves or are new or don't know anyone. I've done that with my staff. We my whole team attends every year. But also I love finding people who are new or don't know anyone and just letting them tag along and introduce them to people and show them how they can be involved so that they feel more comfortable at the conference, but also with the association and hopefully more interested then in getting involved in other parts of IAEM.
I love that too. And one of the biggest things I've noticed in the last few years is the increase in students that are showing up throughout the conference and being able to talk with them. And some of them are returning students throughout their program. They come more over and over again. And then to watch that evolution has been amazing. So let's talk about a little bit about the things that the conference itself offers and what people could or can expect when they show up there, whether it's the first time or their 10th time.
Yeah, there is so much, but there's not so much that it's overwhelming. I have been to other conferences where you can hardly even read the program because there's just so much and you don't know where to start. With the IAEM annual conference, we've always have pre and post conference training that is hosted by a lot of our training partners. That gives something for people to a way for them to tag on to their conference travel and come a little bit earlier, stay a little bit later in order to get some of that additional professional development that they might be interested in doing. We there in addition to the plenary sessions and the breakout sessions, there are a lot of other ways for people to connect and interact during the event. On Sunday, we've got the First Steps Mixer, which is an activity for people who are there for the first time to meet other people. It's geared towards first time attendees, hence First Steps Mixer. We also have people who have been there for a number of years and members of the conference committee to help welcome people and facilitate the activity, which is not scary. Again, I'm an introvert and I've done the activity, so it's not scary. And then we've got the welcome party, which is a great way to meet all the people that maybe you've only seen in virtual meetings and you've never met in person. And it's just a really fun way to start off the conference week with something fun and social. There's so much. There are always some other optional outings and tours depending on the location. And in order to help people continue to stay connected with other IAEM offerings, there are caucus meetings during the conference, along with opportunities for the different IAEM regions to also have meetings, so that it's not just everyone at the conference, it's the caucuses that you're involved in, and you're maybe you don't know your region president or vice president, and it gives you an opportunity to meet your regional leadership as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I found through the conference itself is there's something to do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. There's always something happening. There's always some people to meet. There's always a thing, something to do to keep you. There's always, and it's not just about learning something. It's not just about sitting and hearing someone speak to you. It's about engaging and interacting. You got the floor, the exhibit hall, you got the dinners, you got the mixers, you got the after hours get-togethers that people put together. It is a pretty amazing event, and with so many things to do, you'll never truly get bored if that's ever a concern. But you get to meet so many people that are as yourself. Myself, I am an introvert as well. I call myself an omnivert because I can go back and forth, especially when I have to. I have to do these things as an emergency manager. I can't be an introvert. I have to be talking to people, engaging with communities, doing this stuff. And now it's one of those things I have to flip that switch. But sometimes you can get in your own shell, even at the conference. So if you don't, it's hard to sometimes. To me, it can be overwhelming because there's so much stuff to do, so much stuff to look at, so many people to talk to, so many court classes I want to or talks that I want to sit in. I can't choose, especially when they're all happening at one time, and you got so many different options, and you got which one do I
Yeah.
really want? So it's an amazing thing, and every year it gets better and better. This year we're going to be in Louisville, Kentucky, and then next year we're going back to Long Beach. But we also have a virtual one-day conference coming up in May. So is it May 9th?
Yep.
May 9th. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the virtual conference was something that started in 2020 out of necessity, since we were not able to have an in-person conference in 2020 because of the pandemic. That conference was moved to a virtual format. What we discovered is that, and this seems obvious, is when something is virtual, there more people have the opportunity to attend because they don't actually have to travel. It's more accessible for a number of people. So because of that, we have continued to offer a virtual conference, and the conference committee leadership is committed to continuing that because we know there are a lot of people who aren't able to travel for whatever reasons, funding, policies, whatever, aren't able to travel to the annual conference. So we have a one-day virtual conference that is structured the same way as the annual conference. So with a couple main sessions and then some breakout sessions. And the way that the speakers are identified and selected is actually the same way we do that for the annual conference. So when people submit breakout session proposals, they can select if they want to be just in person at the annual conference, or if they can only be a virtual presenter during the virtual conference, or they can do either. So that gives us a great pool to choose from for both of those events.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's coming up real quick too. So looking forward to that. And then we just put out, for all those who are listening and watching, they just put out registration links so you can actually pay for both the virtual and the in-person conference, and you can get a discount two together, which is really good. And I'll put those links in the show notes. Is there anything you want people that are listening or watching to come away with on why they can't miss these conferences?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things to talk about with the conference. But people have different reasons for attending. Obviously, there's the learning part and going to sessions, but also emergency management is based on a foundation of relationships and knowing people, because we need to know people when something bad happens, so we know who to call or who's got what or all that stuff. And so for me, going to the conference is about learning new things, but it's also about renewing those connections, meeting people in person that I've only seen through a computer screen. Recently, I've been very excited to see my staff develop professionally and go off into their own networks, which has been really rewarding as a supervisor. So I guess for me, it's basically like a family reunion. And said previously that IAEM is basically my emergency management family. with all families, there's all sorts of different people, but yeah, I love getting together and seeing people and celebrating accomplishments and providing support for people who have been through whatever the last year brought of disasters, and just see everyone in person.
Yeah, and there's a lot to talk about this year. I look forward to seeing you there in person as well. Look forward to continuing to work on the Conference Committee with you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me about this today. Where can people find you? Where would you like people to reach out if they wanted to reach out to Toni?
If it's about conference stuff, I've got a conference committee email account, which is long and complicated. I don't remember right offhand. Conference co vice chair two, I think. But otherwise, I'm on LinkedIn, or people can email me at tony.hauser@minneapolismn.gov. Yeah, I'm easy to find.
All right. I'll make sure I share those links as well to be able to connect with Toni. I'll be sharing the links to be able to research more on the conferences. Hopefully, everybody get to see you there. We got the virtual and the in-person coming up this year in Louisville, Kentucky. First time we've ever been there as a conference. I know the conference committee itself has been there to scout the place, but I'm looking forward to being there. I know we have lots to plan this year because it's our first time, and it's whiskey and stuff like that. Everybody's excited about that stuff. I'm sure that there'll be some fun stuff there, maybe a little bit too fun. But so thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's always great talking to you, Toni. Great seeing you. I see a lot of unicorns in the background. I was hoping to see you wearing your thing today, but your horn, but we'll deal with that later. So sure, I'll see that at the conference. For everybody who's listening out there driving down the road, things will be in the show notes. I'll make sure that I put the links there for you to connect. I'll share Toni's LinkedIn. And if there's any information or anything, please feel free to reach out. If you want more information on that, reach out to me or Toni. That would be great. Also, if you're watching, you found value here, please share, please subscribe, give it to somebody else who will benefit from it and could understand some of the things that they could benefit from at the conference and why they should go. It would be extremely beneficial. I'm Dan Scott, and I will talk to you next time.